My name's Merinda Wilson, and I'm British. I come from the UK. I'm in my early 50s. I've got two children. They're called Amy and May.
My name's Amy. I'm 21 years old, and I'm at university at Music College studying opera.
I think I'm a strict parent. I think rules are very important. I thought that my children were quite adventurous and a little bit on the wild side, and therefore rules are very important. We had, especially our mealtime rules were quite interesting, because they got so badly behaved at mealtimes that I really decided that we had to have rules, and I wrote them on a piece of paper and put them on the wall by the table, so that when we sat down to have our meals they could see the rules written on the wall, and that was quite important. We had to sit at the table, we had to eat nicely, and had to have good table manners. I think the other rule, really important rule, is bedtime. Because what I've noticed is that as soon as they don't have enough sleep, they behave badly. So bedtime is very important, and making sure that they do get to bed on time and obviously get up on time. Those were just two places where I imposed strict rules, and they seem to then create a certain amount of structure in the day. I'm not necessarily in control, but I know everything that they do. So I know when they go out, I know where they're going, I know what time they're coming back, I know what their homework is, I know when they've got particular things to do. And I know, for example, whose turn it is to clear the table. So it's just sort of making sure that they know that I know what they should be doing, and I think that really makes a lot of difference, and that's how I interpret being strict.
I think my mum was quite a strict parent. She was certainly strict about food, no sort of crisps and junk food, and I totally appreciate that now. She had a lot of rules about manners at the dinner table. Using your knife and fork properly, and we had to say, "Please may I get down now," when we'd finished dinner. I remember her getting us to help with a lot of household chores and gardening, and not being one of those mums who just does everything for us. I remember rules about bedtime were to go when she said to go. We had to do reading before bed. Either we would read to mum, or sometimes she would read to us, depending on how sleepy we were. So she was strict, but I think in all the right ways, and she made us respect her. When I was younger, I used to disagree with her sometimes, mainly to do with social events and sort of hanging out with friends, or what I was going to do after school, because mum would try and encourage me to not overdo things so that I wouldn't get tired, and also to do schoolwork and do practice for my hobbies, for example, singing practice or piano practice. And there were times when I didn't agree with what she'd said and I rebelled. She let us make our own decisions, but would always say what she thought about them. So, for example, she'd say, "Well, you can go to the disco if you want to, but I think you might be tired the next day, or you might not enjoy it as much as you think. But if you want to, you can do what you want." So at times I did go against what she said, and sometimes those things were okay, and sometimes they didn't go as well as I wanted. And now I realise that mum is normally 99.9% she's right.